Welcome back to SpoonCast. My name is Spoon, your host, and I'm joined here today with NerfedMike, which I am interviewing. Hello.
Hello there.
He's a streamer on Twitch, and he's a community leader for Built by Gamers. And yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good as well.
I've got a little bit of a cough, so I apologise if I have to mute myself at some point during this cast. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
if I go quiet, that's why.
and I have just woken up as well, so if the host dies, don't worry, it's fine. Okay, so this is the third episode in my podcast, SpoonCast. Hoped you lot enjoyed my last episode, which is a bit controversial. But yeah, this is pre-recorded, so that hasn't released yet. So let's get straight into this podcast and who you are and what you do. Okay, so Mike, tell us a bit about what you're doing right now.
Okay, so things that I'm primarily focused on at the moment. I'm NerfedMike. I stream on Twitch. I tend to stream on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, depending on workload. Because the main thing that I tend to do on Twitch is I tend to moderate for other people. So depending on when their streams are, will depend on they sometimes affect my streams. And then the other thing that I'm part of, which I'm very proud of at the moment, is I've been made a community leader for a organization called Built by Gamers, who have their own professional Fortnite team. They're working on a professional Counter-Strike, Halo, and Apex team as well. And they have just released, they've just started to release the people that are involved in the Content Creator Academy, which is the side that I'd be working on quite a bit.
So what is the Content Creator Academy? Do you know much about it?
Yeah, so essentially the way that they work with the organization, anyone can join the Discord, so to speak. They can become part of the community, and within the community, we all kind of help each other out. But certain streamers are selected to be placed into the academy. In the content creator, it's literally anything. So they have the same. They've got the academy for Fortnite, and they've got the academy for the other games as well. But with content creator, it's basically anyone that creates content, really. And these people are people that they've singled out because they believe that they have the ability to go further within their career in Twitch. So the academy members, essentially, they are people that Built by Gamers work with, not exclusively. They work with very closely to help them grow their channel, grow their viewership, expand the content that they're offering. And then the idea is eventually that once they get to a certain level, when they're averaging, I believe it was somewhere, I think it was when they're averaging about 150 viewers or above, then they get looked to be pushed into the top tier, which is classed as the professionals, the content creators, and that's where they're able to then again look to expand and grow their Twitch to go further on, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's just like an organization which helps little Twitch streamers out there. And do they choose or do you apply?
You can apply, but the idea of applying is essentially you making yourself known within the organization. The idea being, if you're part of the Discord and you're active within the Discord, you're seen to be making an effort to try and improve the content that you currently offer, and try and improve your channel overall. If they feel that you are doing a good job, and they think that you might have what it takes to become part of the academy, then you get that opportunity to move into the academy. But you can only do that when there's a spot available. So the whole lineup at the moment is being announced for the academy, and then once someone within the academy becomes gets to the point where they're able to move into the professional level, then there's a spot open in the academy, and they'd look to fill that spot with someone from the community.
Okay. Alright, might have to apply it, right? You know?
It's definitely worth it.
Alright, yeah, everything's worth it. Okay, so let's backtrack a bit. Let me ask you two questions. When did you start creating content and why?
Okay. That was a long time ago. People that know me will know I'm slightly older than most. I'm 38 this year, actually. Um, excuse me. Yeah, 38 this year. I've been gaming since probably the age of about 12 or 13. Um, Online gaming since the age of about 18. And when I started online gaming, I dabbled a little bit in making videos on YouTube. They weren't great. They weren't anything special. I didn't do a huge amount of it, but that's when I started creating content. When it comes to the Twitch side of things, that only really started probably about a year, maybe a year and a half ago now, that I started streaming. Um,
Okay.
but the reason I did it was I looked at it and I thought, like, I was going to work on a normal day, and then I was going home and I was playing games. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be doing that anyway, why not do something where I could possibly make a career out of it? And who wouldn't love to be paid to do something that they love doing?
Yes, yes, indeed. Um, guys, we have an actual boomer on this podcast for once. So, round of
I'm not
applause.
quite a boomer. I don't think I fall quite in that age range, but I'm close.
Okay, well, we're getting there. Next one, we're just gonna have the age range is gonna keep on going up and up and up and up. We're gonna have
Yeah.
someone who's 100 here. Podcast like 20. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you think that you're on the brink of making a career out of streaming? You've been doing it for a year, right? Or 2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
about a year and a half.
Okay. Year and a half.
I think I genuinely I tried a little bit when I came, because I moved from Germany to the UK when I was made redundant in an old job, and I had enough behind me to actually give it a go to attempt full-time streaming to make it just my primary income. I'm not quite at that level as it is now. However, I think with the other side of things that I'm dealing with, i.e., the modding and the community leader within Built by Gamers, I'm close enough on that side to possibly make a career out of that. What I'm doing with Built by Gamers now can legitimately go on my CV.
Okay. So have you done anything else like Built by Gamers in the past, or just Built by Gamers is your first like gaming kind of thing that you've done, like community?
Community manager wise, I've done similar things, but on a much smaller scale. So, I mean, I can't even think off the top of my head what it was, but I know I have done similar things where I've managed communities. Obviously, I mean, modding on Twitch, a lot of that is managing communities as well. Like, you wouldn't believe the amount of Discord servers that I have and that I'm active in, because I have to go in and moderate in there, and that is essentially community leading or being a community manager. But this is the most kind of official side, and it's certainly the biggest side of things that I've done in this regard.
Okay. I remember when I first met you in real life. Oh, when was that? 2016 or 15?
Yeah, it'd be there and thereabouts. Being one of the profit
It was
lands.
one of the
It?
lands. It was one of the lands. Like, do you think you've grown much from there, like as a person? Because I feel like
Yeah.
you've gotten more PG in your videos than anything. Like, let's explain this. How did you reform yourself?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So, excuse me while I cough there.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've been known to, for me, getting on the internet is a bit of an escape. I've got to be serious in my jobs that I've had, and I've had some very serious jobs. So you finish work, you get home, you get on the internet, and you can just basically be a kid. Essentially, you could just have fun. So I was kind of like that in that aspect in my online persona, where it wasn't that I didn't care, it was just I didn't really have that many boundaries, and I was kind of known for that. But since the idea of, say, for instance, like I said, whether it be modding on Twitch, or whether it be streaming, or whether it be community leading within an organization like Built by Gamers, you realize that when you're in those positions, the way that you act isn't just representing yourself, you're actually representing other people, and you're representing communities. So when that happens, you've got to kind of rein it in a little bit, because you can't misrepresent these people and these communities. It's not something that you should do. Certainly, it's not something professional to do anyway. So yeah, I kind of started going a lot more PG a little while back because that's how it should be, really.
Okay. What do you think? Actually, this is gonna jump between topics, isn't it?
That's
Let's
fine.
keep on going down the topic of you being in the past and stuff. You used to be heavily into Ark back when I met
Ark?
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
You used to play Ark a lot, didn't you? Do you still play Ark, or has that died off now?
I dabbled with it recently. We tried it again. There's a group of me and my friends. There's probably about 8 or 9 of us who tend to play the same games whenever we get a chance. As we've gotten older, it's gotten less and less because things happen. But we played Ark for quite some time. I've actually got just over 2,500 hours in Ark.
Yeah.
And I do love that game. I absolutely adore that game.
By the way, this is Ark Survival Evolved. So if anyone,
yes,
yeah,
Ark Survival Evolved. It is a fantastic game. It's got some brilliant mods for it as well. The modding community within Ark Survival Evolved is fantastic. So there's always something fresh to do or to try. But yeah, like I said, I dabbled in it briefly, but I just found that because I don't get a huge amount of time these days, what with work and what I class as now my part-time job, which being on Twitch, I just don't really get a lot of time to game to myself these days.
Mm-hmm. So do you game? You game for others or only yourself?
What do you mean?
How do I explain that? Do you game what's popular or do you game what you want to? Okay, let's segue into this. I have 3 questions that I normally ask people on this podcast. What game are you currently playing? What is your... What was the first game you've ever played?
Right.
Answer that, yeah. What was the first game you ever played?
The first game I ever played, I believe, was a game called Whizball. And it was on the... Whizball. Wizzball. And it was on... I believe it was on the Commodore 64.
Okay,
which is
I
old school.
have no idea what that is.
Explain
to all the viewers what that is. That's a different console, isn't it?
Yeah, Commodore 64 was like the old school home computer, I suppose. Came out after the Atari, I believe. Yeah, I think it was after the Atari.
I know what that is. Yeah.
But basically, all it was a keyboard that had like a socket that you would attach a cassette player to. Now I realize there's going to be a lot of people that don't know what that is either, but like tapes.
I know what a cassette player is. Yeah.
Right. So what you'd do is you'd get the game, which was on a cassette. You'd put it in the tape deck. You would press the play button on the tape deck. You would then type play on the keyboard, which would then come up on the screen. You'd press enter, and then, God forbid if you were epileptic at this point, because the way it loaded was it would just throw lots of flashing colors at you. It was horrible. And it would do that for ages, and then eventually it would load up essentially what was an 8-bit game. And some of these games were like, sorry, some of these games were really bad. I say really bad, they were great at the time. I remember that specifically there was a football game, I can't remember what it was called. But the graphics were basically, each player was just a set of rectangles that were kind of attached together. You would only see one half of the football pitch at a time.
What?
And if you kicked the ball over the halfway line, you had to take you had to eject the tape from the tape cassette, turn it around, put it back in, press the play button, wait for about 20 seconds for it then to essentially load up what is exactly a mirror image of the half you've just left. And every time you went over the halfway line, that would happen. So I would kick the ball over the halfway line. Yeah, I'd kick the ball over the halfway line. And we'd turn the tape over, we'd load it for 20 seconds, and then it'd come onto my mate's side of the pitch, and he'd literally just hoof it back. And that was the majority of our time playing that game, was just kicking the ball over the halfway line.
Ejecting and putting in the tape up. Okay, all right.
Yeah, having to turn it around just to get a mirror image of the side of the pitch you were already on.
So this was an annoyance.
Back then, it was great. It was great. You didn't really care all that much. But yeah, looking back on it now,
what was it called again? It just slipped my mind.
The computer was called a Commodore 64.
So the Commodore 64 was a form of natural selection to get rid of epileptic people and just annoy and annoy football fans, basically.
Yeah, if you weren't a true gamer, you didn't game.
What if you were playing? What if the ball was around the halfway line? Like you kept going back and forth around it. Like,
You'd have exactly the same problem. As soon as you went over that halfway line, you went off of that screen. That was it. You had to load the other half.
I just can't comprehend that. Does the game just pause in between the ball in midair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, as soon as it had loaded the other half, the ball would then come from. Because, like, imagine that I'm on the left half of the pitch because you're looking at it flat on, and then you go to the right side of the screen and you get to the edge of the screen. And as soon as you hit that edge of the screen, that's when you have to flip the tape over and load it. And then as soon as it loads in, you are then coming in from the left-hand side of the screen.
Does the game freeze when the ball goes over, or does it just show?
No, it stops until you've loaded it, and then when it opens up again, you just keep carrying on from that side of the screen.
All right, interesting times then.
Yeah, very interesting times. Archaic times.
What the hell? How would you? Okay, right. I hope was that for every game, or was that only for that game?
It did it for that game, but there were many other games that, like, say for instance, I'm trying to think of some of the games now. I know one. You're gonna laugh at the name of the game. It was called Jet Set Willy.
What?
Yeah, it was a weird game. It was a really weird game.
Was it like Willy is in the name of someone, or was it?
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah.
But it was a weird game, and probably an apt game for me at the time. Well, not at the time. I was very young at the time, but if you look back at it, the premise of that game was that you'd held a house party in your house and gotten very, very, very drunk. And if I remember correctly, you kind of wake up the next day still drunk and you have to go find bottles of beer somewhere. I don't know. And there's these weird things in your house that just kind of like, that hurt you. But every time you went into a new room, you had to flip the tape and press play. And these rooms weren't big. Like, it would take you about, like, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds to get out of the room if you're doing it properly. And then you'd have to flip the tape and press play, or just press play to load the next room. Yeah, it was a bit of a pain.
You think this game influenced your life?
I hope not. No.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next. I have the 3 sets of questions. All right. So the next question that I ask some people on the podcast is, what is your favorite game of all time? And the next question is going to be, what's your favorite game right now?
Okay. Favorite game of all time is tough, because I've had the privilege of being around over so many different generations. But I think it'd be a toss-up between Counter-Strike, which I've actually been playing from when it first came out, when it was a modification for Half-Life back in 2000.
Oh, okay.
So I've been playing that for like 20 years. But it stuck around, so obviously there's something I really like about it. And I'm trash at that game as well. I'm trash at most games. So I would say either that, just because it's stuck around for so long and I'm still playing it, or the other one has got to be The Last of Us, which was an amazing game.
Honestly, everyone's going to hate me on the podcast.
Do not say what I think you're about to say.
I've never played The Last of Us.
Oh, what? Play it. Get the remastered version. Play that game. It made me cry twice.
Okay, if it's a game that makes you cry, then I'm going to play it.
It's an amazing game. And the second one's coming out soon.
Like, honestly, on this podcast, I haven't even talked about my favorite game. Maybe you should interview me now.
What's your favorite game?
My favorite game, of my first game that I've ever played. My first game that I've ever played. Okay, from recollection of memory, even though my memory is shorter than your memory.
This is going to make me feel really old now, but go on.
The first game that I've ever played, ever, I don't know, there was like a bunch of games. Like, they all mesh into one kind of thing. I used to play them and just take them out and every day and like, okay, I remember, what's the name of those TVs where it projects onto the screen inside?
Well, like a plasma TV.
Is that what it's called?
Possibly. You've not given me a lot of information to go off.
No, it's not. It's not a flat screen TV. It's one with the big backs. The big backs.
Oh, they're...
What are they called? What's the name of them?
I always get them mixed up. I want to say HRTs or HDRs, but one of them's hormone replacement therapy, and it's not that. But I know which ones you're talking about. CRTs, I think. The ones with the massive backs.
Yes, the ones where you put magnets on and it just messes it up.
Yeah.
That one. Okay, yeah. I remember playing the first Halo on the first original Xbox. Just you don't understand like the nostalgia and the satisfaction that I got from playing Halo and just going through the missions and going into the alien ships, and just I don't know. There's something about it. I'm gonna play and stream the new Halo when it comes out. When the Halo 1, 2, and 3 come out, I'm just gonna play that forever. All right, I'm saving up for that. Anyway,
I think I was 19 when that game came out.
You're 19.
Because it was like 2001.
You're older than me when that game came out. When I played it. No, actually, I played it a few years after it came out. So, damn. Well then.
But it was a great game. I loved that game as well.
Also, Half-Life 2. That is literally one of my favorite games. Right.
That's a good game.
Now, but like that is one of my favorite games of all time, and that was one of the first games I played. I don't know. There's something about the nostalgia and the environment, like the sounds in the distance that you hear. It's just it just makes you feel immersed. I don't know. Are you gonna try the new Half-Life Alyx when it comes out?
Yeah, I probably will. I played the original Half-Life when it came out, and then because Valve don't like doing the third game, they don't like threes.
They don't.
So they did Half-Life 1. They then spent ages. I can't remember how many years it was, but it was so long waiting for Half-Life 2. To the point they thought, right, we just need to release a game to keep people happy while waiting. So they made Portal, which became a cult hit. And then they released Half-Life 2, and I played that, and it was an amazing game. And then there were all these whispers about Half-Life 3, but like I said, Valve just don't do third installments of games.
Yeah. The day that they make a clash between Half-Life and Portal was the day that I literally stay in my room for 3 days. Or a month, or a year. What else is gonna say? My favorite game now. What was my favorite game of all time? I said Half-Life 2, but that's not really it. My favorite game of all time. I don't think it is. I think it has to be a multiplayer game for me. I think it has to be either CS, because I played that for a long time. I have about 2,000 hours clocked on that game, or 3,000. Actually, no, I have about 2,000 on different accounts. Yes, I would say that
on
CS
different accounts. That doesn't make you sound dodgy at all, does it?
No, I have Smurf accounts, so I can play with people who are incompetent. I'm calling all the incompetent people out. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. My favorite game of all time is CS. I don't really play single player games, so I can't say that. Although I have recently, my favorite game right now is Siege. I'm addicted to it. I'm literally addicted to it.
It's a good game.
I go on every day and just frag out. I just want to learn every aspect of the game. Mainly because of Bolo. Bolo's sick. Pro player in Siege. 18 as well, so.
Yeah, I played that game for a while. I did like it, but again, it's very similar to a lot of the other kind of games that are out there these days. And for me, it didn't grab me enough to make me want to stay with it. But I've got a habit of hopping between games anyway.
I don't know, like. This is gonna sound sad and everyone's gonna hate me in the comments. Yeah, I know how my comments are actually so not toxic, but like there's some people who just roast me in the comments. Or some people are just so sarcastic. I'm gonna get roasted for this. I don't care. All right.
Go for it.
I make Siege tactics in my sleep. I don't know, like like CS tactics, like you have those nades and stuff. Yeah, basically that. But I do that for Siege in my sleep. I'm like, oh, what if I did this? And like, what if I cut off that angle? I'm gonna try that tomorrow, and then I try it tomorrow and see if it works or not. So that's the insight of my life, and
that's fair.
My downfall into sadness. Okay. Also, I've been playing Jedi Fallen Orders recently as well. So
I've not played that yet. I've seen it. I've not played it.
It's an amazing game, but it's just this is not a game review podcast, but I'm just gonna give it a review anyway. So all the levels seem the same, but the environments are sick. But like. The combat's the same, and there's not many enemies. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah,
but I did mod it though. I didn't torrent it. I meant mod it, but as in like, I changed the color of my lightsaber to red, which you can't do.
Okay.
And I love the mods on it. I just got infinite coins and everything, so I can level up. I finished the game though, so gotta redo it now in the highest difficulty. Anyway, let's get back to you, because you're on the podcast as well, and you're not interviewing me. Alright, What was I gonna say? Where would we be segueing to? Oh yeah, what's your favorite game right now?
Um, I don't know. That's another tough one because I don't get. I think I mentioned before. I don't get a lot of time to actually game these days. It used to be like I don't know. It used to be that my life was like probably 40% work and then 60% gaming. Whereas now these days, because I kind of class Twitch, whether it be Twitch modding or streaming or whether it be working with Built by Gamers, I kind of class that as a second job. So these days it's more kind of like probably 90% work and 10% gaming. So I don't really get a lot of time. I am currently playing a game called Dark Age of Camelot, which was out quite some time ago.
Let me
It's
search
an
that.
MMO.
Dark Age of Camelot. Yeah, just keep
Mm.
talking.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's an MMO. It's based obviously around the Camelot era. There's three realms that are constantly fighting each other, and it's kind of like it's very mythical. But back in the day, it was a case that it was a subscription-based game, and they always had expansions. It was kind of like something that was run alongside WoW at the time, and it's similar to WoW. It's just a different kind of storyline. Whereas now, because it's kind of died off because it's such an old game, someone released is basically making a free version of it. I think it's on Phoenix Shard or something it's called. But essentially, what they're doing is they're rebuilding the game. They've got the permissions to do this. They're rebuilding the game, and then they are adding parts of the game from the original into this. They're not changing the graphics or anything. They're not changing the gameplay. They're just giving people the game and the ability to play the game without having to have a subscription base.
Is
So
that
I'd
illegal?
be no, they've got the
Okay.
permissions to do it all.
Okay.
But it's something that I've been playing recently, if anything, for nostalgia's sake, and just because when I do get downtime, I like to play a game, but I like to play something that can, I suppose, maybe be a bit numbing, something that I can do and listen to music and not have to concentrate on too much, and I can just relax and do it. So that's what I do with that. I'm just kind of grinding through levels on it at the moment.
Okay. Normally in this podcast we talk about a lot of gaming stuff.
Hmm.
It might get a bit boring, so let's go into some other topics. Okay, so do you watch any
Okay.
shows?
Any shows? Did you say?
Yeah. What shows do you
Yeah.
watch? Any TV?
I
Yeah.
whenever I mean, normally if I like when I finish for the night, I'll get into bed and I'll tend to just watch something on my phone, just to help me kind of sleep. But I end up then like getting into it and watching like 3 or 4 episodes and staying up much later than I should.
Oh, you
Um,
binge, don't you?
I
You
do,
finish like
yeah,
a whole season in a week.
yeah,
Like,
I'm like that.
like what?
Like
Give me some
Witcher.
examples.
I
The
finished
Witcher.
Witcher recently.
The Witcher. I need
Um,
to watch that. But
if
do
you,
you need to
why
play
have you
the
not watched
game?
it? That's really good.
Do you need to play the game just to know
No,
what's happening?
I mean if you play the games, you've got kind of like a background sense to it, but it's actually based more on the books than it is the game itself.
Okay.
But you don't need either to be able to like get an idea of what's going
It
on.
just
But
sets you up.
yeah,
Normal
I mean,
show.
Witcher's a good series. I've been watching Mandalorian, although I'm
Oh
kind of a little
yes.
bit behind on that. That's a great show.
You're behind on. You haven't finished it. What? I bulked that. I like not bulked it.
No, I haven't finished it. I was watching it, and because I'm one of these people. I'll start watching it, and then if I get distracted by essentially work, as I call it, then I put it in the background, and then I kind of forget about it until I need something to watch. And I've just started watching with one of the communities I'm part of. There's a series called True Blood about vampires,
True
which is
Blood.
actually
Where's
quite
it
good.
on? Normal
Amazon?
TV or Amazon? Okay, Amazon.
I think it's on Amazon
Have you
or Hulu or
watched,
something like
have
that.
you got Amazon Prime?
I do, yeah.
Have you watched The Boys?
Yes, I watched that. I
Boys, The
binged that
Boys.
when it came out. That's
The
brilliant.
Boys. I need to talk about The Boys with you. Like, I've never no one I know has watched The Boys, so you're the first one I've talked to. Who's
Oh,
actually
really?
watched
It's
The
a
Boys.
great series.
Bruh, what even is The Boys? Like, oh, I just kicked my table and that made a loud noise. Nice. That's gonna be interesting for people. Wake you lot up. Come on. This is the podcast. Wake you lot up. Okay.
Yeah, The Boys is great. Essentially, it's a different take on superheroes because obviously every kind of program you ever watch about superheroes, the superhero is the hero. They're a goody two shoes. They do things that they should be doing, They struggle with like moral choices sometimes when they're like, oh, should I kill the bad guy or should I take him to jail? But they always take him to jail. The Boys is essentially about superheroes who just go, all right, we'll pretend to be really cool so that we can make money, but we'll just do whatever the hell we want with their powers, and people just can't stop them because they're superheroes. And it's a really cool and interesting take on the idea of superheroes, and it's a hilarious show, and it's a really, really good show to watch.
It's like sometimes. Alright, spoiler warning. Okay, if you want to watch The Boys and don't want any spoilers, click off now, and just
Come back in a bit.
Yeah, come back in a bit. Yeah, just click like 15 minutes down the line. I promise you won't have missed it much. Yeah, like some of it's dark, isn't it? Like some of the themes
very dark,
really dark. Like
they touch on a lot very dark.
That plane scene. Do you remember it? With the two superheroes, the Superman looking.
Oh yes, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
bruh, what? Like he just kills everyone. Like
yeah, again, that's them doing the same kind of take on moral choices that superheroes have, but showing the superhero taking the other choice. They're like, oh, we could save them, but no, we'll just pretend we weren't here and we'll just disappear, and we'll let them all die because I don't think we can save all of them. You know, it like you said, it was very dark, and like even like to the point where you've got that lady who's saying, look, even if you just let everyone else die, please just save my baby. And she's got this young baby, and he's like, nah, not interested. And he just disappears, just flies off. But yeah, they, like I said, again, it's just a different take because all the other hero stories, the moral choices, they always pick the good ones, and Boys, it's them picking the bad ones too.
I can't remember it, but like there is some twist at the end, isn't
there? Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it, but yeah, there was quite a twist at the end. I think the second season's coming out soon.
Oh, when's that coming out?
Pretty sure it's coming out soon. I remember seeing it and thinking, oh, that's definitely something that I want to watch.
Okay. Speaking of another series I watched, do you watch many animes or you don't watch those kind of shows, do you?
I dabbled with it occasionally.
I've watched,
but I've not really got too much into it.
I've watched My Hero Academia. 3 seasons of it dubbed. It's about it's basically about people with superhero powers, like quirks. They call it quirks. Like humans have evolved to have like one like special ability, but some like the 20% of the population doesn't have the special ability. Because 80% of the population do have a special ability, there's like enhanced crime in the world. So there has to be like a new like kind of job in the world to like stop that kind of crime happening. Because like, some of the powers they have are insane. Like you can literally have like one of the characters who's like a good guy he can secrete like explosive sweat from his hands and make it explode. Like that's the kind of levels that you have.
Right. Okay.
Like you can literally make a whole like basically C4 explosion to happen on his hands in the blast. And one of the characters has, I'll just give you some examples. One of the characters has half of his body is fire, half of his body is ice. He's pretty cool. I'm gonna probably gonna buy a jumper of his. And like the premise of the show is, it's actually really interesting, but it's like a hero school. Basically, it's My Hero Academia. It's like academic school for heroes. It's like if you had an esports school,
right?
These days, if you had like a pro esports school, the thing that you were talking about at the beginning, to like help you hone your powers and like get you ready for the job that you're gonna do as you become a hero, and like the heroes get paid by the government, and it's like a police force basically, but enhanced and more specialized.
I'd be down to watch stuff like that, but again, for me, it's just time. I never really get enough time to be able to do stuff like that. I think I'd enjoy something along those lines.
Yeah, it's such an interesting concept because you don't know where it's gonna go. Like, and I don't know. Spoiler warning again, guys. If you haven't watched My Hero Academia, click off now and come back in about an hour. All right? Yeah. Don't actually come back in an hour. Just come back in about 10 minutes or like 2 minutes. The whole plot point is there's one guy who doesn't have a quirk or like a superpower. He doesn't have it, but he meets the most famous superhero in the world, like the Superman of the universe, or the Superman of the world, basically. And the Superman saves him and learns about his story of him wanting to be like a hero, but can't because he doesn't have one. And basically, I shouldn't say basically all the time. Let me just start the sentence again. Essentially, yes. Let's get more complicated here on this podcast. We're intellectuals out here. Essentially, the big bad superhero is called what the hell is he called? All Might. Yes, it's like ALL Might. That's his name. Don't actually know his real name. I forgot, but that's his like Superman name. But yeah, he gives his power to the child, and then the child has to live up to him. Basically, that's the whole series. And
right.
The greatest in the world because he has like the most OP power in the world. Anyway, let's just. Are you interested in that or?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd probably enjoy something like that, but it's just getting the time to be able to watch it.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like when I made that noise, that was pretty cringy, but
it's fine.
Okay. What else did we want to talk about today? What else did I have? Oh, do you want to do the Would You Rather now?
Yeah, shoot, we can go for that. Could be interesting.
Would you rather? Let's see what topics there are here.
You're getting these from Reddit as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get them from the actual blue and red site. Those ones are boring. Okay, so calling all men. No, that's a promotion. I just started reading the wrong thing.
Well done. You just start reading out ads. It's fine. Hashtag sponsored.
Hashtag sponsored. Calling all UK men. Okay, alright. No, let's
sound like a Viagra advert.
Oh no, it's about clothes. Okay, anyway, yeah. Speaking of clothes, all right. Would you rather have free clothes for the rest of your life, or free food?
Free clothes or food? Did you say?
Yes.
Food.
Free food.
Because
as well.
I think if you can get clothes, it's not overly expensive, and clothes can last a long time. Food is just like, if you look at how much you spend on food per day and per week, it's probably a lot of money.
Wait, let me click onto the comments and see how it works.
That's a lot tamer than I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest.
I don't know, man. Like, I literally clicked on one and I looked at the first one. That is apparently the top of last week, so don't blame me. Okay, alright. Would you? This one is. Alright. Would you rather be immortal or a body snatcher? Who or when would you choose? What? That makes sense. Who would you choose? I think I'd be if you were a body snatcher.
Yeah, I think I'd be a body snatcher because the idea of being immortal is great until you realise that the people who are important in your life die around you, and you'll still be there. So I'm not too keen on the immortal side of things. So I'd be a body snatcher, and I don't know, I'd probably snatch Boris Johnson first and just go out on the lash in London and have a laugh.
Okay, wait. There's some extra details here.
Okay.
Go on. Immortality. You can jump back in time to any period and live out your life in a random family as a newly born baby, but you lose all your memories. When you die, you become a newborn again. Oh, that's how immortality. Okay, alright, yeah. Right.
Okay, that type of immortality.
Okay. When you die, you become a newborn again, and you retain what you knew from your previous reincarnations. Okay, this is the kind of immortality they're on about.
Yeah, I'd probably still go body snatcher.
This will go on indefinitely or until you choose to stop. You can choose to stop.
No, I'd probably still have more fun body snatching if I'm being honest.
A body snatcher. Let's see what the details are here. You can take over a life of anyone currently alive, retaining all your memories from your personality along with whatever memories or personality traits you want from the individual. You can tell others. So, who would I body snatch and just go on a finessing spree with? Like, I don't know how this works. Would you have to come in contact with the person or what?
I'd assume you'd have to be like in the vicinity.
Body snatch? Isn't body snatch like killing someone though?
No. Body snatch is like you take control of their body.
Yeah, but what happens to them?
They just well, from like movies and stuff like that where I watched, the general gist of body snatching is that like someone takes control of their body. They are still in their body, but they don't have any control over it. So they're kind of like along for the ride for whatever you're doing.
Okay, so you are them. You become them.
Yeah, you've
with
become
your
them.
choices. Fam, I have some things that I want to do. No, I can't. Can't say. I can't.
Yeah, that's going. I know where that's going.
Okay, all right. Let's just keep this PG in like you are.
Yeah.
So, even though I'm not really PG on this channel, so
It's fine. It's fine.
we don't say N words here. Don't worry, it's fine.
Good.
We can never say that. We never know.
Good, good.
Anyway, moving on. Okay. Would you rather kill the person you love or be killed by the person you love?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd take the wimp's way out of that one. I'd rather be killed by the person I love
Why?
because then you don't have to worry about it, do you? Whereas if you kill the person that you love, you then got to live with that.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Like, you just killed the like you can't have that person anymore. But if the person
exactly,
you love,
and
that love, like you love, wait,
exactly.
yeah.
If you love that person and then you've had to kill them,
They may not love you. That's the thing as
there
well.
is that. That is a possibility. That is very true.
I mean, I've been on Reddit, on Twitter. I've seen people's rejections. They've basically been killed by the person they love. So, oh, the first top comment right now is jokes on you. I don't love anyone, and anyone loves me. What? I don't love anyone, and anyone loves
dark.
me.
I think what they were meant to say was, jokes on you, I don't love anybody, and nobody loves me.
Yeah, alright, that was a typo from them.
Probably what they were aiming for.
Yes. Be killed by the person you love. I could never hurt them. Yeah. It's the same thing that you said. Alright, this one. We were literally talking about this a second ago. Superpowers.
Okay.
Alright, would you rather have superpowers in this reality or in a comic book reality?
It's a weird question, isn't it? I'd rather have superpowers in this reality.
Yeah, because no one else has them.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in a comic book reality, the likelihood is that there are other people that have superpowers. And in this reality, you can just, like... I mean, this kind of harks back to the boys' conversation. You can literally do whatever you want and improve your life. It makes me sound like a complete and utter a-hole for being a superhero, but I'd probably lean in that direction if I was.
What superhero power would you have right now? I'll answer my question, and then you answer yours first, and I'll answer mine afterwards. Or should I do mine first? Because I have mine in my mind.
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, alright. This is ultimate sadness move, yeah? I'd be Spider-Man, yeah? I'd be like, I've had dreams of me being Spider-Man, like, about 3 times this year. Not this year,
Right.
Sorry. Not this year. 2019, okay?
Like this week.
Just waiting for this question to hand it down. Alright, with Mike, I'm gonna talk about this. Would you rather? I'm gonna say that I've had this. This is what I'm doing. No.
Just so I can let out my my Spider-Man fetish.
Spider-Man and Elsa. Just quickly delete the search history right now. No, like being Spider-Man would be so sick. I don't know, like just like getting around places. Like I don't know if I would reveal myself as Spider-Man. I think I would reveal myself as Spider-Man. Imagine revealing yourself as Spider-Man in school. Like, bro, you be the guy, all right? You're literally, you can fight anyone. Not that I condone violence. I do not condone violence on this podcast. Do not kill anyone. Yeah, just getting around everywhere and just like having webs. I think the webs would be the funnest thing. And like being able to stop anything at any time. So like, you see all the stabbings going around London. You can just you can actually be the one who saves people from being stabbed by patrolling London.
Yeah.
But I don't know how effective.
You could end up being the one that gets stabbed.
I mean, you have like insane reactions, so I bet you'll be like good from a knife. Like Spider-Man can literally, he's been to space, all right. So okay, so have you thought about what you'd have?
Yeah, I'd probably go Superman. Because he's literally got everything Spider-Man has, but extras.
Yeah, but like... Okay, well, if we're going down this route, yeah, I want to destroy you a bit, okay? Everything associated with Superman exists, so Kryptonite does exist in the world. Kryptonite, yeah.
What?
So, Kryptonite will exist in the world, if you're Superman.
Okay.
So, how do you feel about that?
Same way you'd feel about the fact that evil villains who hate Spider-Man will exist in the world.
But then we're turning into a comic book. Okay, all right. Maybe my
You're
maybe
the one
my
that started introducing things that didn't really exist. But yeah,
maybe my point wasn't really good. Okay, um, just let's just stray away from that. Okay, should we do one final one and then
yeah,
we'll just
sounds good.
how long will we be going on for? We're going to 45 minutes. I feel like 45 to an hour is good enough for a podcast. So we'll go on for a bit and we'll just wrap up with a few like just conversations. I don't know.
Yeah.
Of what we've been doing, what I've been doing. Anyway, let's look for another good one. Do you watch WNBA? No.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh no! Oh no! Do not get triggered.
It's basketball of some
It's
sort.
women's basketball, I think.
Oh,
WNBA.
women's basketball, right? Okay.
Actually, no. Leave that. I don't watch any basketball. Would you rather grow 2 inches of dick per year? No. Okay, let's not do that one.
No, that's not.
What? Okay. Would you rather have? This is all boring, man. These are all boring. I should have had them written down before.
Yeah, you should have done.
Let me just.
Pro podcaster.
Yeah, I'm on the fly podcast, alright? This is all natural. This is not robotic, okay? Let's go top of this month. You wanna have a conversation while I look for something?
What would you like me to talk about?
Not things you've been doing. What haven't we talked about you? Or what's going on recently?
Well, things that we haven't talked about. As I was saying, I do a lot of modding on Twitch. One of the main people that I mod for, actually the main person I mod for, is a girl called Full of Emily. She had surgery not too long ago, and because of that, she couldn't stream because she's a singer. So she was essentially out of work for quite some time. So during that time, because it was her only form of income, she doesn't do anything else. She just streams. She's a full-time streamer. I did what were called the hijack streams, where I got in touch with lots of other streamers, very big name streamers as well, and got them to stream on her channel for her. So I mean, they've just finished, but that was a lot of fun because I got to, like I said, there were some big streamers. I was speaking to quite a few partners that were involved in that as well. That all kind of got involved, and the good thing was these people were happy to kind of help out pretty much straight away. And that's what I love about the Twitch communities. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some bad points to Twitch communities, but the good points are amazing. You know, it's literally like having another family.
Okay. I mean, I stream on Mixer, so I haven't talked to many Mixer streamers. Only a couple, so maybe I have to get on that. Or maybe I have to talk to Twitch streamers as well. It doesn't really matter, does it?
Definitely worth networking. I mean, networking is for any streamer on any platform. Networking should be your bread and butter. If you don't know how to introduce yourself and speak to new people, then you're never going to grow as a streamer. It just won't happen. You have to get involved in other people's communities. You have to be a big part of their community, and then you have to also do this without the anticipation of getting something back. There are going to be communities that you get involved in, you won't get anything back from it, but you don't. That's not what you go in with the intention of. Just network, become friends with people, and you'd be surprised at what you do get back from it. Like, you get other people's communities will end up coming to your stream. They'll end up talking to you. They'll end up following you, and then they'll keep coming back. And that's how it should work on any platform. Is that we shouldn't be competing against each other as streamers. We should be helping each other and helping advance each other, because all that's going to do is just make the platform that we're on that much better and give us that much of a higher capability of earning money, essentially.
Oh, okay. So
Is that wholesome?
Yeah. Better start networking then. How the hell do you?
Yeah, it's like the most important
Discord
thing.
servers and stuff.
Don't do that. Whatever you do, do not just go into someone's Discord server and advertise, like in there, like the shameless plugs or anything like that. You've really got to become part of the community. You've got to get used to people. You've got to get to know people, and not even just a streamer, just the people that are in that community. Become friends with them.
Like in the chat.
That's what it's all about. That's how you grow.
Okay, I have 2 more would you rather questions. These are sick. These actually, okay. Would you rather find out what happens after you die, or find out how the universe began and the Big Bang, basically? How the universe began.
I think, for me, I'd rather find out how the universe began, because I mean, that intrigues me anyway. But I
You're
think
gonna
if I
die
knew
anyway.
what was going to happen
You're
after I
gonna die.
died, that would kind of like imagine if you found out what happened and it's just black emptiness, or you found out what happened and it's like, I don't know, you're doomed to listen to Spoon's podcast for the rest of your life. That's going to be quite daunting to know that that's coming.
Oh no. Okay, alright. People are probably kicked off right now, but I've got some loyal people watching. Come on. Alright, anyway. I think I'm excited to die. This is strange
I'm
to say that.
excited to die. What a
Like,
weird thing to say.
I have always said this. I'm excited to die because one day everything will be over and you'll do something different. Like what happens after your real matter of the body is not existent? Like, did you like? You know, there's so many tangents I can go on now, but let's just.
But just a question on that one. You're excited about like what happens next, essentially.
Yes.
If you knew what happens next, would that not spoil the excitement?
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to know because I'm gonna know anyway.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So I'm excited to die. That means I want to keep that excitement. So I want to know what happens, how the universe was created.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen after you die? Do you know? Like, do you have any theories? What do you think?
Nothing. I don't think anything happens personally. I know it's a depressing view on it, but I don't know. I don't. I don't believe in a higher power. Not to say that people shouldn't. People can believe in anything they want, but for me personally, I don't really believe in a higher power. Um, I don't believe in like reincarnation or anything like that. I think it's just when you've had your time, you're done. That's it, you're done.
Okay, so you know what? Speaking of that, you see, after you tell, like, I had this thought the other week.
Okay.
Let's kind of end on this, yeah, because I feel like
Yep.
this is a good place to end on, of dying.
Okay.
No, I had this thought the other week where it's like, if you were beheaded, like, would your consciousness, would you be able to see? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, would you be able to see your head rolling on the floor? Like, do you think like, your mind
Such
is
a
still
very
untapped?
random question.
Your mind is still untaxed, so you will be able to think. But like, will it instantly like all the nerves just cut and just cut off your brain, or like, I don't know. There's probably some science behind it.
It's a very interesting. Interesting. It's a very random question. But there have been documented cases of like back in the days when people were beheaded for like crimes and whatnot. The old off with their head type thing, where once the head's been separated, the eyes still blink
Oh my god.
for a very short period of time. Whether that's just a muscle reflex or not, it kind of gives you the idea that it could be something that happens. It could be that there is a split moment where you do still have that cognition of what's going on. But yeah, it's a weird question.
Okay,
Not gonna
so
lie.
I've been dragging this on for so long. All right, let's end this podcast on beheadings.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for having. Bruv. I would like to thank you for being on this podcast, Mike.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Would you like to have the honors to do an outro for this podcast, or would you want me to do it?
I can do it. I don't mind.
Yeah, I always have the guests do the outros, so go ahead.
Okay.
Say what you want.
Well,
say what you want to plug as well, because I have everything in the description for you.
Brilliant. Okay, so thank you very much for everyone that's listened. Thank you for coming along to Spoon's podcast. I've enjoyed myself. I've had a good laugh. I imagine that there will be another one the week after. I believe there is a podcast that's coming out before mine, so don't forget to catch that wherever it goes. For myself, if you'd like to drop me a follow on Twitch, it's NerfedMike. You'll see that in the comments below, or in the description below even. My Twitter will be there as well, because I'll ask really nicely if I can have it put there. And with me, if you've ever got any questions, anything Twitch-wise or streaming-wise or anything like that, I'm always happy to talk to people. So if you've ever got any questions, just give me a shout. I'm more than happy to let you know. And Spoon will be back next week with someone else.
Yes, don't know who that is yet, but I'm emailing loads of people, so better get some replies back. So
yeah, you will, man. You will.
Okay, all right. See you a lot later.
Thank you. Bye.